There's a lot of information to sort through when you're researching advisory firms. Federal employees often feel overwhelmed about what they don't know and may find it difficult to find a planning firm that's best suited for their family. And there are several key qualifying questions that every federal retiree should be asking an advisory firm before deciding to work with them. This is one of the most important financial decisions you're going to make, and you should be guarded about who you allow to serve your family. This video is a bit longer, but I really wanted to give you a foundation for making a good decision. And at the end, I'll give you the 3 Ps test that every firm you're considering should be able to pass. So let's jump right in. The first question you should ask the advisory firm you're considering is, are you a fiduciary? I wanted to start with this one because it's not something that everyone knows about. A fiduciary is one who acts on behalf of someone else and is legally bound to act in their best interest. I believe that it's not only a legal obligation, it's also an ethical one. Many financial professionals are not fiduciaries, and regulation only requires that their advice and recommendations be suitable. What's suitable is vastly different than what's in your best interest. And here's how you can visualize this. If an advisor is making recommendations to you that are merely suitable rather than in your best interest, then it may look something like this, where what they're recommending surely does fit in your plan. In fact, it actually makes up a lot of the holes that may be there, but really, you can see there's still some areas that have holes in them. Whereas when a recommendation is in your best interest, it may be completely customized to your retirement plan, where the recommendation is a perfect fit for what you need in your retirement plan. Question number 2. What kind of families do you do your best work for? You wouldn't go to a general doctor for chronic headaches or back pain, well, unless you need a referral, but you'd go see a neurologist or another specialist who is best suited to provide you with what you need. Retirement planning is a specific kind of financial planning in the first place, and then combine the fact that you have all of your federal benefits to incorporate and interweave as well. This is one of the reasons we find that many federal employees may be underserved by their current advisory relationships. As a retiring or already retired Fed, there's just too much to get wrong in your retirement plan if your advisor is not specialized in working with someone that's exactly like you. Retirement success comes in a variety of forms, but the advanced planning that's required for the types of families that we serve, for example, is very different than those with a different financial circumstance. For instance, in my firm, we almost have a niche within a niche. Yes, we specialize in working with federal employees, but even then, it's a focus on those retiring soon or already retired, and for those who have been successful savers. Our clients are middle-class millionaires, and that comes with a whole set of unique and specific concerns like tax planning and reducing tax liabilities, developing the right withdrawal and income system in retirement, making sure they're invested correctly along the way, and very often planning around the legacy that they may leave to their family, friends, or charities. These are areas that we've become very specialized in helping our clients that maybe aren't as important to everyone else. And you want to find the firm that is best suited for your needs as well. The next one, are you able to help us with matters that don't involve our portfolio? If the firm is only talking about investment allocations and isn't incorporating other elements of financial planning, that should be a red flag. Yes, most of what advisory firms does surround your money because that's how you tactically implement a lot of the strategies. But if the conversation is only around the markets and the economy, and there's no talk of tax planning or income planning in retirement, Social Security, healthcare, should you take Medicare with FEHB or just keep FEHB? What if you're on TRICARE? What of your other retirement benefits? Should you keep FEGLI? What about estate planning or even insurance? These are all things that are really important to your retirement plan, and if they're not part of the conversation, then you may consider looking elsewhere. I tell our clients to call us for anything that involves a dollar sign. If it's important to you, then it's important to us. Next is, what will you be doing to help make sure I don't overpay in taxes? How will you help me reduce my taxes? Folks, tax planning is one of the most valuable things that an advisory firm can do for their clients. I've seen many retirement plans over the years, and most of them had areas in which tax planning was just lacking or not there altogether. A really simple example of this is we commonly see people excessively paying in capital gains taxes. You can't avoid capital gains altogether, especially as the markets are growing. There are investments that are just not tax efficient, and we often see federal employees overpaying in taxes. So things like tax-aware withdrawals or accelerated distributions, bracket management conversions, asset location, tax-efficient investments, these are just some examples of ways that we help clients keep more of their wealth in the family. Next up, how can you help us increase our efficiency and reduce investment costs. This is another area that we often see retirement plans overlook, even when they're working with other firms. Technology has really allowed the investment business and companies that offer investment funds like Vanguard, Fidelity, and so forth to really reduce expenses for the end investor. The TSP has had its 5 core funds at very low cost for quite a while now, but if you look at all of the other options available in the TSP mutual fund window, many of which are great investment choices for retirees, there are some incredibly expensive investment options within that mutual fund window. The same is true for any custodian, that you have a wide universe of choices for investments. So why not just stick to using the core funds in retirement? Well, what's helped someone to be successful up until retirement is very different than what's going to create and sustain the success that they need in retirement. I love the TSP's core funds, especially if you're still working. They are a little bit more difficult to work with if you are not utilizing some of your other options available for a retiree. Remember, your needs in retirement are very different than they are when you are first growing and investing your wealth up until that point. And the challenge with the nearly endless investment choices is that people often overpay in investment expenses, and over time that creates a performance drag on their portfolio. At our firm, we believe in utilizing low-cost investments, and we're often reducing costs for our clients, which in turn helps them to keep more of what they're earning in the long run. So make sure you understand how the firm you pick is going to be operating. The next question you should ask is, what portion of your clients are federal employees? How well do you know and understand my federal benefits and how they incorporate with the rest of my financial plan? This one you guys know pretty well already. Your federal benefits package is full of complexity, and over the years I've seen all kinds of circumstances that has really required our firm to have a deep knowledge of federal benefits so that our clients could get the best outcome. You guys know the government is full of acronyms, right? The TSP, there's FERS, FEHB, FEGLI, all kinds of important details that an advisory firm should really be specialized in understanding. I've seen people receive really bad advice that has cost them their benefits. For example, I've seen people lose FEHB in retirement. I have seen people do terrible things with their TSP, cost them extra in taxes, or they were much more volatile than they recognized and then they lost money that they shouldn't have. You name it, all kinds of variables that really should be important for the firm that you are working with. The next question is, who will I work with and how many people are on your team? Well-established planning firms often have a team in place. My time is best spent meeting with clients and providing them with guidance, but I have a whole team that helps me serve our clients. And why is this important? Well, you should consider how much time your advisor is going to be able to give to you. If they're doing most things themselves, they might be a bit behind on answering emails or being able to take appointments. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but you should also understand if there are more brains than one that are collectively working for your benefit. These are all things that I would be asking if I were looking for a firm to serve my family. Sometimes there are people who do the introductory conversations, and then once you become a client, you may be passed on to an associate advisor who may not be as experienced. These are small but important details that you should understand before you agree to work with a firm. We believe that you should like your advisor and that you should have a good foundation of trust and relationship with them. And if you get passed on to somebody else later on, then that could be something that's influential to your relationship. The next question you should ask them is, how will you help me make sure that I'm creating my retirement paychecks in a sustainable manner? Generating sustainable income in retirement is a specialized skill. Ensuring that you have sustainable and inflation-adjusted income throughout all of your retirement is one of the most critical parts of your retirement plan. And the challenge is that your pension and Social Security are just not going to keep up with the real inflation and the cost of your expenses over time. And what inevitably happens is your portfolio has to make up a bigger and bigger part of your retirement paychecks. And the strategies that accomplish this are very specific and require a lot more finesse than simply investing for growth over 20 or 30 years. The next question is, how often will I meet with you? Guys, this is a big one. Many advisory firms have 300 or sometimes even 400 clients per advisor. I've been in that environment before, and I can tell you that there is very little attention that's dedicated to each individual client. You may get a meeting once a year that lasts somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and then your advisor may not be very available until the next annual meeting. Maybe this is just what you're looking for. In that case, great. But we know from experience that the true value that comes from planning is something that happens during the year multiple times in the year. And if they're only addressing your needs once a year, then you might be missing out on all of the potential that there is for your family. So just something to keep in mind as you're searching for what kind of firm works best for you. The next is, how do we get in touch with you? There's industry research that shows the number one reason that clients leave their advisory firms unsatisfied is because they felt that their advisor was not communicable. You should know how you can be in touch with your advisor. For example, I tell clients that I build in space to my calendar every single week to be able to help them in an emergent situation. Some firms have an 800 number that you may have to be on hold with, or sometimes there is a team that can help, but you may not be able to meet with your advisor in any reasonable amount of time. Now, don't get me wrong, advisors can be busy. I'm often booked 6 to 10 weeks ahead of time for general meetings with clients, but I also have space built into my calendar to be that planning partner that a client might need at a moment's notice. And that's a very specific and unique way to operate an advisory firm, and we've chosen to do that for the families that we serve. Again, I'm not saying anything is good or bad, it's just different, and you should be aware of what you sign up for. The next question, do you accept everyone that wants to work with you? This is another big one. This goes hand in hand with the previous one. How many clients can an advisor serve? Hundreds. But how many clients can they serve really well and at their best capacity? Well, that number is much less. And that's the key here. There are a lot of different ways that advisory firms can serve their clients. I want people to be paired with the firm that can do their best work for them. Sometimes that means not working with my firm, and that's okay. We can only accept a handful of new clients each year without beginning to sacrifice the service that our clients have come to appreciate and benefit from. So just keep in mind, if you are getting a sense of feeling rushed to make a decision, then that should be a red flag. The next question, how do you get paid? Do you earn a commission? Let me start by saying I don't have any issues with a professional earning a commission. I paid a commission when I bought my life insurance policies. I paid a commission when I bought my car, my house, you name it. But the point to understand here is that someone may have a financial incentive to get you to commit to something. In the finance business, it could mean that an advisor recommends one product over another. This doesn't mean that they didn't believe it was in your best interest, but remember, the advice just has to be suitable. There are firms out there that are called fee only. Our firm is like this, and it means that I don't have a financial interest in whether you prefer a Vanguard fund over a Fidelity fund, or if you love American funds and that's all you want to use in your portfolio. Hey, that's your prerogative. I might have a professional opinion about that and will give you guidance and advice accordingly, but your advisory fee to us doesn't change with one versus the other. And our clients feel very comfortable with this sort of arrangement because they can be assured that we're not being influenced with a higher payout by recommending one solution over another. The only thing we sell is our advice and relationship with our firm. Now, the other point I want to make about this is that fee-based, that's an A, is not the same as fee-only. I've seen the term fee-based be used in the business, and this is when an advisor can actually do both. They can collect an advisory fee, or they can earn a commission for selling a specific investment. Again, not good or bad, just something that you should be aware of if your advisor is switching hats. The next question you should ask is, what is your investment philosophy? Do you believe that you can beat the markets? This is always an interesting question to ask a planning firm because it strikes their ego a little bit. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between investment management and investor management. We can't control the markets, but we can control how we participate in them. The right asset allocation for your plan is far more valuable than picking the hottest investments. Different retirements, but with the same portfolio returns, can still have vastly different end results. If the firm you're looking at is predominantly focused on picking the hottest and best investments, consider that they may not be able to provide value to you in all of the different ways that are available. Your investment allocation is important, of course, but it's not important enough if you get all of the other key parts of your retirement plan wrong. The next question, are we stuck in a contract with your firm? While there may not be many captive advisory contracts out there, there are definitely captive investment products. This goes back to understanding what kind of relationship you have with a firm. A lot of investments have lockup periods or periods of time that you have to leave your money invested or pay significant penalties for moving it too early. Sometimes this is for many years even. So this is something you should know before agreeing to work with a firm. If you have to make changes along the way, you should understand whether you're going to be penalized or pay really high fees for doing so too soon. I always tell people that it should be just as simple to get out of the relationship as it was to get in. The next question you should ask a firm is, what happens to us if something happens to you? A good financial planner is always looking for potholes that are coming down the line for their clients. And this should include making sure their clients will be well taken care of in case something happens to them. Is your advisor going to be around for your full retirement, or are they retiring as well? If something happens to the advisor, what happens to you? What kind of succession plans are in place? I'll tell you, for our clients, we've built relationships with other trusted advisors who could step in if something terrible were to happen. Our clients can, of course, go wherever they want, but we know how important it is to have a trusted relationship in place, and so we wanted to help give our clients a head start. All right, so we got through the list, and as promised, here is the 3 Ps test that any firm you're considering working with should pass before you say yes. And the first P is process. Has the firm demonstrated that they have a process in place for working with clients? Are they a research-based firm? How did they develop their philosophy and planning tactics? Is there longevity in the firm that supports that the planning they're doing for clients is actually working? What systems do they have in place that will help cut down on the things that interfere with client success? These are all important questions. And the next P is profitability. Has the firm quantified how they'll be adding value to you in the long run? I know that the only way this works for our clients in the long run is if our relationship is wildly profitable for them. But how many firms take the time to determine whether they can do that for you and then actually quantifying the value of what they'll be doing? By the way, I don't mean what is the average performance for your clients, because if they can answer that question, then that means all their clients are in the same kinds of investments and they're not really doing customized planning. Not to mention, investment performance is only one variable that influences your success. And good performance cannot prevent failure that comes from bad planning. There's lots of studies that you can find that showcase this. And the last P is personality. How do you like their personality? When I interview families interested in working with us, I'm thinking about things like, are we a good fit for you? Are you for us? Do we present information in a way that resonates with you? If you're married, do both of you feel like you're being supported? Do we like each other and enjoy our conversations together? Will you be comfortable discussing personal topics around money? These are all important questions that you should consider. So if any of this was helpful, let us know by hitting the thumbs up, maybe sharing this with one of your friends or colleagues. And until next time, stay wise and stay wealthy.